My reaction to ChatGPT. Now, anyone who has watched my videos will realize that I do not believe in a controllable artificial intelligence. The operative word here is controllable. Of course, I know that AI programs actually work. Very creditable AIs are already widely available. The amazing ChatGPT program is a case in point. Of course, ChatGPT is still a work in progress, which does throw out some very peculiar responses. After I asked it about the books I had written, it labelled me a sociologist and then listed 4 books, 3 of which I hadn't written. Nevertheless, the intellectual quality of some of that program's responses has rendered me utterly speechless. For example, I was discussing ChatGPT with my good friend Dionysius Demetis when we asked it the following rather tricky question. Write 500 words on the main arguments against method. Can you write that in the style of Nietzsche, in English? And can you also use some Feierabend direct quotations? What came back, which I'll discuss later, turned out to be a concise summary of my own feelings, but in a way far better and more articulate than I could ever produce. The only fault was a little repetition, which was easily edited out. But otherwise, our reaction was instantaneous. Wow, quite amazing. However, we could see here was proof, if proof were needed, that the consequences of such programs are truly uncontrollable. As a system, AI programs are far more than the initial installations they are designed to be. Those systems will be the totality of everything the programs become as they interact within the human activity systems that include them. Those emerging systems will then introduce instabilities into these surrounding human activity systems, making the consequences totally uncontrollable. One direct and immediate consequence will be that the university students will be using ChatGPT to write their project essays. Now, is that plagiarism or just a sensible use of a research tool? Clearly, universities, to keep their degrees credible, will have to change their modes of assessment to guard against future essays that are the sole product of ChatGPT. Far more costly and time-consuming face-to-face viva voce exams will be necessary. Furthermore, if the lecture material produced by that program is clearer and more concise than that of lecturers, then why bother to employ human teachers at all when a machine is superior? Paramedics and paralegals armed with AI will deal with most of the low-hanging fruit and some not so low-hanging, and will replace doctors and lawyers, and then the latter's monopolistic stranglehold on society will be broken. What happens if the likes of ChatGPT are linked to the internet and used as search engines? Then requests can be fine-tuned in ways that Google can only dream of. Now this begs the question, does Google even have a future? Now, is all this just wild speculation on our part? No, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Let me return to our original question. Write 500 words on the main arguments against method. Can you write that in the style of Nietzsche in English? And can you also use some Feierabend direct quotations? The computer's response was, very charming, "My dear reader, allow me to present to you the arguments against method in the style of the great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. First and foremost, method is nothing but a constraint on the free spirit of the individual. It is a shackling of the creative will, a denial of the unique and the exceptional. In the words of Nietzsche, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. Now, if you try it, you will be lonely often and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Method is nothing but a tool of the herd, designed to stifle the individual and reduce them to a mere cog in the machine. Furthermore, method is nothing but a tool of the weak, a crutch for those who cannot think for themselves. In the words of Nietzsche, another nice quote, "The weak and the botched shall perish. First principle of our charity, and one should help them to it, to help them perish." Yeah? Those who rely on method are nothing but the failed and the mediocre, who seek to impose their own weakness and inadequacy on the strong and the exceptional. Now, let me interrupt the program's answer for a moment. It is quite incredible. Now, 20 years ago, I gave a lecture in Las Vegas entitled "Method is for the Mediocre" to a group of applied mathematicians. Yeah, that's my sense of humor. With the answer, ChatGPT had clarified and summarized that 40-minute talk in just 500 words. Now, back to ChatGPT's answer. Method is also a product of the past, a relic of the dead and the outdated. As Nietzsche wrote again, one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. Nice poetic line. Method is nothing but a constraint on the new, the untried and the untested, preventing us from breaking free from the past and embracing the future. Method is also a product of the present, which will not survive in the future, as Feyerabend wrote. Method or rationality cannot be the criterion of scientific rationality. Rather, rationality must be defined as the ability to accomplish one's goals given the resources available. The resources and the aims change, but method remains the same, which makes method not survive in the future. In conclusion, method is nothing but a constraint on the individual, a tool of the weak, a relic of the past, and a product of the present. It is a hindrance to progress and a barrier to true freedom and self-actualization. The individual must reject method and embrace chaos and creativity in order to truly live and flourish. To quote Feyerabend again, "The only principle that does not inhibit progress is anything goes." It is time to embrace chaos and reject the tyranny of method. There you have it. And as I said, the answer was quite amazing. Subsequently, Dionysius added the names of Martin Heidegger and Niklas Luhmann to the question. And he got another quite different but equally amazing answer back. So, my conclusion. The methodological inhumanity are becoming redundant. Thanks to artificial intelligence, the future is increasingly uncontrollable and terrifying. Still, every cloud has a silver lining. No more management consultants.